Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot for being so many. So we're going to talk about customer experience and machine learning. So I will rephrase quickly. So let's get to know each other. So I'm Laurent Picard. I'm a developer advocate at Google. I focus on the cloud platform. And in a previous life, I co-founded Bookin, an ebook pioneer, and I also in 2000 I was a co-creator of the first European ebook reader, so a big tablet of 1 kilogram at the time. So let me get a sense of who you are, and that would help me calibrate better the presentation. How many of you are developers? Wow, okay, nice. How many of you are already using the cloud? Okay, well, a little bit less. And machine learning? Not many. Okay, so that's why you're here. One last question. How many of you speak a different language than English? Nice, okay, so that might be useful at the end of the presentation. So here is what we're going to cover. We'll have a quick look at customer experience, an overview of Google Cloud machine learning services, and we will have a live demo where we'll be using Twilio and Google services at the same time. With all of you. So first of all, customer experience. So I tried to draw a timeline to show where you can have an impact on the customer experience. So when you talk about a product, the first thing you think about is features. But a product is much more than features. Before that, there's the onboarding, before your users are going to use your product, the design, the packaging, the delivery, the ordering of the product, and communication before that. But after the features, you have the updates and the customer service, last but not least. This is valid for anything. It can be a physical product in a brick and mortar store. It can be a digital content. It can be a software. For instance, update for a physical product can be accessories. So, and how can you optimize that? So the first answer I hear most often is just build the best product with the best features. In my opinion, it's impossible. So my advice is be very good everywhere, and be very good in time, all the time, okay? Keep it good. With all these stages, you can interact somehow with your users and customers, and you can learn from them. There are many ways you can learn. When your users are using the product, you know if it's a connected product, you can get a lot of feedback, but you can get feedback before and after, especially also at the customer service part. And to get a sense of all this feedback, you have to use machine learning. Otherwise, you would have to have an army of customer teams, okay? So here is an example of a traditional customer service. So it used to be a standard FIFO queue. For FIFO is first in, first out. So an example is you get a lot of emails that your teams have to read. So they can have 4 hours of emails to read or tickets. And suddenly, there is a big issue in your product. You released an update, and there's a major bug. One of your users is just making a ticket with a high priority, but with a FIFO queue, you will not treat that ticket immediately. You will either waste time reading the other emails, or you will be late in treating this high priority. So this is where you can use machine learning to make it, to treat it with different priorities. I've been talking about user feedback. So the traditional ones were calls, emails, but now you have all the social networks. and it's just getting bigger and bigger every day. So for instance, you can live analyze the tweets of your account. You will learn a lot from that. Let's now have a quick look at the Google Cloud machine learning. So Google Cloud is huge. As of today, it's over 60 different products. Here we're just having a look at the data part. So the data part is made of three subparts: the storage, the big data, and the machine learning. And in this session, we will have just a quick look at some of the machine learning parts. Okay. So regarding machine learning, there are two ways you can benefit from it. Either you have your own data and you want to build your own model. So you can do that with TensorFlow. So TensorFlow, if you don't know it, is a public library. So it's open source. It has been released by Google. So it means that you can install it on your computer. You can build your own model, feed the data, and later on, when you have massive amounts of data, you can deploy that on cloud machine learning engine. So this is the data scientist part, okay? You can use it, it's quite easy, but you're adapting it to your own business. There is an easier way, and that's what we're going to see today. You can use already trained models. And these models, you use them with APIs. And they pretty much cover all the existing medias. So you can process text, you can process speech, you can process pictures, and you can process videos. We're going to have a look at the first three. So the natural language API takes text as an input. From this text, you can recognize three things: the syntax, the entities, and the sentiment. A few examples. So I took a British example. So Tolkien was a British writer. So if you put that sentence into the API, what you will get is this analysis. So you will fully understand the verbs, the adjectives, the type of the different words. You will also get the relationships between these words. And there are nice things, not well shown here, but you also get the lemmas. So the lemmas are the canonical forms of the words. So here, you know it, but was is derived from the verb to be. So that's pretty powerful because you can treat plurals with a single word. You can process all the different forms of a word with a single entity, okay? And of course, it detects the language that you give it. If I give the same sentence to the API and ask for entities, I will get three different groups, so with three colors here. The first one, Tolkien is recognized as a person. And moreover, I get the link to the Wikipedia page. British is recognized as a location. It's related to the United Kingdom. And the three books at the bottom, likewise, are recognized as works of art. Always, in these cases, with the link to the Wikipedia page. It can also analyze the sentiment of the sentences. So I took two examples from online reviews, a positive one from the New York Times, so back in the days when it was released, and a negative one from Goodreads. It's from a reader. So if you give the two reviews, the sentiment analysis will give you scores for all the sentences from -1 to +1, +1 being the most positive. And it works. It's great. The first three here come from the New York Times review and the other ones from the negative review. So you've seen three different types. You can fully understand the syntax of the text, so you know how it's built. You can understand the entities, so you know what it's talking about. And here you can understand the sentiment. So you can do pretty many things with the text analysis, okay? So new API. An example. Ocado, a British company, has been using extensively the natural language API. And actually, so I invite you to have a look at, they communicate about it a lot. There's a link bit.ly Ocado ML, or you will find it customer service Ocado and machine learning. And they pretty much did what we're talking about. They changed their whole customer service process to treat more tickets from their users and better. So second API, the cloud translation API. So you've all used it, or maybe one or two have not. You know Google Translate on the web, or you use the translation on your smartphone. So that's the usual Google Translation API. So it does many things, translate from or to over 100 different languages. It's very easy to use. It's a simple API. You can even give the API your emails in HTML, and you will get a translation back. The nice thing, and I'm pretty sure you noticed that, it's a very high quality engine. It used to be a statistical model, and more recently, Google moved from statistical to neural network, so that's machine learning. And with that, the results are much, much better. And what's nice too is that with machine learning, you can train the model over and over, and it just gets better and better. So I'm pretty sure you noticed that, or maybe with some foreign languages, you noticed how it improves over time. An example, Airbnb. So 60% of the connected users at Airbnb are using the app in different languages. So this company is able to use the translation API to translate virtually everything. They translate the listings, they translate the reviews, and all the communications between the users. And it works well. A third API, the speech API. So this time, with this API, you can convert speech to text. And like the translation API, it works with over 100 languages. And a new feature that we released recently is that we are able to give you the timestamps of each word in the audio stream. So it means that not only you can get the text from the speech, but you can also synchronize each word with the audio stream. We'll try to use that at the end of the talk also. So an example, Acer. So like Airbnb, they're using the translation. So it's a matchmaking app. They've done over 15 billion matchmaking with their app. So they translate all the communications between the users, but users can talk. And so they use the speech API to convert audio to text, and then they translate the text. Okay? So now, let's do a live demo. I think it will talk if it works. So this is a risk I'm taking. I'm going to use both Twilio's API and Google APIs all together. But before we go further, I have to make this claim. So no servers have been harmed for the making of this demo. So, and if you see the mention serverless, so it means that I did it, and I didn't have to configure any server. So the code that you're going to see is code that I pushed to the cloud, and that's it. And it's working, it's live, and there was no server configured, either from Google nor from Twilio. Okay, let's move to the live demo. So maybe I'm going to explain a little bit more what I did. So here, I'm using Twilio APIs to process SMS and to process calls. Okay. The first thing I did before using Twilio is using text, so an email or simple text. So on the Google part, we have 3 endpoints. an endpoint for text, an endpoint for text, but from an SMS, and a third one from a call. Here, Twilio is able to process the SMS or the call and give text. And here, I'm getting the text immediately. If the text is, so I consider that we would be an English audience. If the text is not in English, it's going to be translated through the API. If it's English, it's just going to go through the natural language API directly. So I don't have different teams, but what I'm going to show you live is how it works and how we can get a sense of who's talking, all the different texts that we're going to process. The only configuration that I had to do with Twilio, so I set up I provisioned 3 phone numbers. A French one, because I'm based in Paris, a UK one for you today. I imagine that most of you would have a UK phone, and a US one too. And the only thing then that I had to do was to set up an endpoint to my site for the call handling and the text handling, SMS. So, and that's it. That's all I had to do. There was one more option. It was that I had to enable the SMS throughout Europe, but that's it. So, a quick look at the source code. So this is really very simple. I have different routes. So here, this is for the home page. I'm setting routes for the different endpoints that you saw. So here, this is to receive text from the web, and I'm giving the request to a data analysis that I wrote. And then I will write an answer. And likewise, for Twilio, you saw that there were 2 endpoints. I did exactly the same. I called the same routine, but here I say it's from an SMS. And here for the second endpoint, I do the same, but I said it's from a call. Okay, and here, this is Twilio code. Here I answer an SMS back, so the message will vary. And here, the answer is something that you can hear when you call. So that's it on the Twilio part. And on the Google part, here are the 2 routines I wrote. The first one to translate text, and that's it. So I just make an API call. So here the language will be English most of the time. And then I just return the result. And the second routine is to analyze the text. So here, this is a JSON request. And here is the core of what I'm asking. I'm asking to extract the syntax, the entities, and the sentiments. And then there are other files to process the JSON result, but that's the core of the app. Okay? So now, let's have a look. So this is live. I'm going to show you how it works, and then it will be up to you. So one of the best memories I have is a concert I had here. I attended here in London. So it was a concert from Mike Oldfield. So I forgot to tell you something. Pay attention to the samples, because at the end there will be a contest. You will be able to play with your phone. So get your phones ready. So pay attention to what's written, because there will be a question. So yeah, so my all-time favorite concert was Tubular Bells 3. So let's try it. So here, when I click here, I will just send the text to the first endpoint. Okay, it's received. Now I go to another page where I display the feedback I get. So there's one request. Okay, it's in English, so it does not get translated. And here are the entities that are recognized. So it was just simple text. So it recognizes Tubular Bells 3, so that's the album that was played. Richard Branson, so that's a famous British character. The Horse Guards Parade. He has a connection to Mike Oldfield because when he started being millionaire, Mike Oldfield started being famous in the 70s. So the concert was played at the Horse Guards Parade. It's recognized as a location. London and Mike Oldfield, okay, so that's easy. But it also recognizes Man in the Rain, which is a song within the album. Below that, you have the different names that are recognized. Yeah, cats, dogs is because it was raining, or if you didn't read. During the whole concert, it was raining cats and dogs. So, so here you might get entities as cats and dogs. And the sentiments, well, that was my best concert memories, and it shows 90%. My all-time favorite concert, 80%. Nothing is negative, and the rest is just neutral. So it works with my first example. So more quickly, I'm going to clear the data, okay, and I'm going to send more samples. So some of them are in English, some in French, Chinese, or Japanese. So is someone able to read this one in English? No? Okay, we'll get the translation. So here I check again the feedback. So I have 5 requests. So the French one has been translated, so you know what I said. The Chinese one that I did not understand, neither the Japanese mean that. Okay. Now the entities. So there's nothing in Wikipedia, but we get the main entities: watermelon, raspberries. And for the sentiments, well, works well. So I do love raspberries. So that's number 1. I tried some emojis. It works too. So here this is neutral. And I hate watermelons. And it works too. It's recognized. Okay. So now I'm going to clear the data, and it's going to be your turn, okay? So I invite you to this site. Either use the QR code or go to bit.ly/Signal London. And at the bottom, okay, let me check something. Okay. So at the bottom, you will have a link with phone numbers. So if you didn't get that in your browser, you can use one of these 3 numbers. And please text me, send an SMS expressing something, positive, negative, something, a memory, a review, or if you just have to say something, please respect the code of conduct. Because this is recorded, and anyway, we have to be nice and googly. And it's okay, no issue. Everyone can use one of these numbers. And okay, so already 5 requests, 7, 9, 10, 12, nice. Okay, everyone from an SMS. Okay, here are the entities. So someone talked about London, Google, Paris, France. Oh, there was Game of Thrones, Twilio, Pink Floyd, the Broads. So I don't know what the Broads are, but should just have to click here. Okay, and let's have a look at the sentiments. This is really great, machine learning. Oh, you are so positive. So, does it work? Yeah? Who does love watermelons? Oh, someone made a joke. So here we are in the neutral part. You should try watermelons. Okay, I will try. I tried actually. Okay, and I hate. Okay, it works. I didn't like the food. Okay, almost in the red part, -20. And I hate sending SMS messages. Great. So we're going to try the contest. Okay, so this is here. So I'm going to clear the data. Okay. So are you on your mobiles? Yeah. I'm going to start the contest. Okay, it's running. And now I show you the question. Who is the famous British lord who attended Michael Field's concert in 1998? So when you answer, you should get an SMS telling you if it's correct or incorrect. So the thing is that I'm not looking for the words, I'm looking for the entity. Okay. So, okay, 50% success rate. So the first 5 will get a cool pair of Google glasses, but you can keep doing it. So you should have received an SMS, okay, your answer is correct, you're number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on. Okay? And I'm going to try something with my French accent. I'm going to call the same number, and I want to participate, I want to try. So let's call Twilio.
How can I help?
Hello, I want to participate. The answer is Richard Branson.
Correct answer. You are number 28.
28. Too late. So it's time to wrap up. So you've seen a few APIs, mainly working on text, and that couples very well with Twilio. But you can work on pictures too with the Vision API and on video too, and you can try everything on your browser from your computer. Don't forget this. So you can try all of this. It's quite easy to use. It took me just a couple of days. The nice thing with the cloud also is that it scales. So it scales with Twilio, but it scales with Google. So if you just have 100 users, or if you have 1 billion users, it will just work the same. Okay? Thanks a lot.